All right, all right. I got another one for you. I want to know about abstaining from a certain thing or staying away from it does not mean that you grew in that area or that you grew patience. Do you need me to elaborate?
Yeah, please. It's this deep
All
shit
right.
right here.
Now, see, there's only one particular situation that I really can say right now that I see this in, and that's when it's in terms of relationships. But there's probably other things as well, where just because you haven't done something in a long time, you think you've grown in it. But have you ever seen the trend where man or woman, just because they haven't been in a relationship in a very long time, they feel as though now they're a prize?
Uh, yeah.
Or it's like, let me explain it a little bit further though. You'll see sometimes where it's like people will sit back and paint themselves to be the king or queen that is just like God's gift to men or women or whatever. But they haven't been with someone in a long time. So they have not even interacted in a relationship or with people in the meantime to even test if they've grown or not. All they know is they haven't been in a relationship. So a lot of times people will tell themselves they've grown or that, but none of that matters because each person that you're with, you have to learn individually anyway. You get what I'm saying? So some people think that, oh, I'm the prize woman for a man to have, or the prize man for a woman to have. But yeah, for whatever woman or man is in your head. But the person you meet is never going to think exactly how you think. There's always going to have to be things that's changed or worked on depending on who it is. But I see the trend of just because someone hasn't been in a relationship in a long time, oh, now they're ready. Or they don't even understand. Like you're just going to pick up where you left off at, and it isn't the point of you're ready or not because you're never ready. Even if you're mature, you're still going to meet someone who you don't know, have to learn them, and then still have to be willing to learn how to deal with them. So that's really what it comes down to in my head a lot of times. Yeah, you haven't been in a relationship in a long time, but are you now willing to not have it all about you? Have you never seen that though? Where it kind of seems as though people just in their head, they're already telling you they're perfect. Like I know when somebody gets me, but you sit there looking like, well, that's yet to be determined because you're still single. You get what I'm saying? So what do you think about that? Like, just being away from something doesn't mean you've grown because if you're away from it, what if you haven't been praying about that thing? What if you haven't been studying about different things in, you know what I mean, in your life, in your spirit? What if you aren't actively working towards the goal of it? Does that mean that you've grown just because you're not in a relationship? Does time alone make you grow? Wouldn't you have to work at those things?
Uh, I would say, but you also have to be a person to really examine yourself. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people who do that and say that type of shit, like they feel like they got it all together anyway. You get what I'm saying? Like
Exactly. That's exactly.
motherfucker could be single because of some dumb shit that they view in their mind that they think is right or okay because
That they're
somebody
still
checked
justifying.
and yeah, and self justify it in their mind, like it was not a problem. Like that's all that's I always do that, or that's how I am, or like, but that don't mean that it's fine or it's okay because you can feel like it's not a problem and keep running to the same issue repeatedly with every man because of something that you think is not an issue. It could be an issue. You know what I mean? Like, but that's a part of human nature. It's a pride issue, uh, that people have. Like you got to be open and understand that you're not perfect. People don't seem like they don't understand that, especially with this internet shit and people getting
I'm
famous.
waiting. I was waiting for you to stop so I could bring it up. But go ahead on. You already hit the lane for me. I ain't had to tell you where to turn. Go ahead.
Nah, but you could take it from there. But you know what I'm saying? Like you getting validation from likes and other type of stuff. But you could be living your life in a foul way. You know what I mean?
So
Or
how hard does it have to be for people nowadays, especially younger folks? But it doesn't. Younger folks, it doesn't even matter anymore, and that's another topic as well too. But the age gap difference between parents and their children used to mean something. I believe that since it's gotten closer, that has affected us in a negative manner.
okay,
You have children and their parents at a closer age than ever before, and I don't believe anything good comes from that unless the young parents that had that child were just so advanced and mature that that's a decision that they made. But I'm sad to say, and sorry to say, most young folks who are having kids today is not because they were stable and made the decision to be married, to get together, and be there for that child.
right, okay,
That's not what we're seeing. So you're just seeing younger kids, younger parents, and once you have that, you still have parents who are still trying to learn things. But that's the biggest gripe that I have against some folks and how they deal with their kids, which I don't have any kids, so I can't tell anyone how to handle their kids.
right,
But
right.
when I see that these kids grow up and affect the society that the kids that I want to have will live in, I have something to say about it. You understand what I'm saying? Especially when it's out of control. And not even so much something to say about it. You still got to raise your kids how you're going to raise them. But my opinion on it is, once you have kids, you're supposed to be willing to give your life up and understand your life is not about you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We have folks now having kids who refuse. I ain't gonna lie though, when I was coming up though, even when I was in high school and the folks was having kids, this and that, I saw that that was the case. See, people want to have kids, but then still be a high school teenager, still be a
A
young
child.
man, a young
Yeah,
lady
you
with
want to be a
a
child still.
child,
Yeah.
well,
Uh-huh.
whatever age you are, even if it
Right.
isn't just 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, you
Right.
still want to
Right.
hit the club, hit the streets. They want to have these kids, but they don't want it to impede on their life. But you don't understand, nigga, nothing bigger than this is going to impede your life.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else can impede your life like another life. So that makes it hard in itself, and people don't understand that, and it's almost like self-righteous when you tell folks that. But think about it though, what if your parents did not take the time to make sure that everything was proper in your life, in your mind? And some of us, we didn't have that. Even if we had parents, we didn't have the proper attention to all the details that needed to be there. So it almost makes you look even much more at other folks and kind of look and be like, man, things can be prevented. You get what I'm saying? But
Right.
my whole point with that is, how hard is it for these people to understand that I don't have a life anymore? Even one of the first rules in Christianity, which I'm always going to bring up Christianity because that's pretty much what I'm based on when it comes to religion. But Christianity says the first thing you have to do in order to follow Christ is deny yourself. The
Okay.
exact opposite of that is preached to the fullest through what you mentioned, this online stuff. How can you deny yourself when you are taught? And this is another thing that I like to tell people that they don't understand. The devil is trying to get a lot of people alone. If he can get you alone, he can wreak havoc on your train of thought and how you think. And
Right.
so how does he get you alone? Look at the messages we have about you don't need anyone. Cut anyone and everyone off. Do things on your own. You're your own boss. I don't need anyone. My fallback game is vicious. These are the kind of messages that, and it blows me because a lot of times I see people who I know can't help themselves, that need help,
Right.
but are posting and talking about just cocky, just cocky, foolish talk. And in my mind, I'm just like, it sounds good, but it's not reality.
Right.
It's not how your creator intended for you to live. How can you live and not need people? You've always needed someone. Up until this day, you've always needed someone. So when these kind of thoughts are being driven into our men, and even our young women, who we know, as the Bible tells us, also are more influenced by things, how are they going to deny themselves, like you said? That has to play a role in the psyche of these generations, huh? It has to play a role, everything they're seeing online and the different attitudes that they're being taught to have. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, but this vision is coming from
Uh-huh.
someone. Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, I said this vision is coming from someone who is basically observing it. You get what I'm saying? Like you're observing this.
Hmm.
You know our how we were brought up, and you know how the newer generation and a difference of how we were brought up toward how they're being brought up, and even the accessibility that these of technology that these kids have. They're a lot more advanced
Hey,
than
but
we are.
but listen, I'm talking about our generation. It's
Ooh,
people we went to school with doing this shit. Listen, that's why I can't even shit on the kids. People we went to school with doing the same shit. So I'm not even throwing those
not
shots at
really.
the youngins.
Not really. Maybe
You
today,
don't
but
think?
what I'm saying is that's who's the people that we were in school with is
Hmm.
kind of the representation that the kids are looking at. Like it ain't it, I'm not saying like this is something like it when we were teenagers, they weren't like that. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But now
In
as
terms of what? In terms of what?
of you saying like, "Oh, I'm straight," and the you know the attitude that you saying
I got you.
that they
I got
carry,
you.
like the people who you
That wasn't the
talking,
propaganda back then.
yeah, the people you talking about is people our age. That's like in their 30s or something that might be feeling like that or representing that. But when they were 20 or when we was in high school, we didn't have no women or really men talking like that. So all I'm saying is this just gonna be passed down earlier. You get what I'm saying? But I don't be mad. I'm not mad at none of that, son. I'm not mad at somebody feeling like they better. Like I'm not gonna be the one to judge if you feel like you didn't got better and you didn't you deserve more.
Hmm.
Kudos to you. Like there's nothing
Hmm.
wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that to me. I can't. If I don't sit in a place of a person's mind to know what they've been through or know what they've gone through, know the pain that they have. Look,
Hmm.
if this is something you do to build your self esteem and it gives you confidence about yourself, so be it. There's a lot of people who don't and lack confidence and self esteem about themselves. Like, but uh, I tell you one thing: whoever that person is either two things. They're gonna get something. They're gonna accept somebody that they feel worthy, that they're worth it and worthy. You get what I'm saying? Or it could be the same type of games to where a nigga run game or a chick run game on a nigga who feel like whatever it is, it's still a possibility that some shit could go down. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
it's just less because you're taking on less partners or less people or taking less people seriously. Or you know what I'm saying? Like I just long as you don't got buku bodies, even if you do got buku bodies, it's still a man out there for you. Like it's still for real. It's still somebody that's
Yeah.
gonna take you. Like
My whole thing about the attitude though is just I'm just speaking as far as the attitude of people just thinking that they don't need anyone. They're just as if like their whole life they forget about people. Like they'll cut off people who have had them when no one else has had them.
right,
But because they're so caught up in this spirit of I don't need it, they'll cut folks off quick. I'm saying they're being taught by people who have money
right.
and can have that type of attitude. You
hmm
can't.
They could. You can't tell nobody what type of attitude they can have.
Oh no. You absolutely right. You can you can have it all right.
Yeah, you can
You
have
can
it.
you can have it. I'm just talking about as far of in terms of if you're trying to actually have success. But no, you can have the attitude all you want, but you're gonna wonder why you haven't obtained the stardom that your favorite rapper has or whoever it is that you're looking at. But no, I can understand you fully. I don't, and I'm not saying that you can control how somebody or why someone is thinking. I'm just saying it's just amazing that that's what is being pumped into where that's the vision in itself. Because even though you can say I'm not mad at you for thinking that way, it also does close off a lot of business opportunities towards our people to where every other culture doesn't live like that, doesn't think like that. So we could say it's cool for certain individuals to think however they want to think, but then when we look at our culture as a whole, Not everyone else has that kind of animosity towards one another like we do when it comes to just, oh, I don't need you. I don't need you. It's like, yeah, this is all we got. You do need me. Even if it isn't for money, it's for moral support, for knowing that I'm here for you, for knowing that we see things eye to eye. Especially it's almost like how people, supposed to run to the church because all through the week, you've been dealing with the devil. You're supposed to want to go to church if it's a good place that you can, be around like-minded folks and be around other people like that. What is the same with your people? After you deal with the world and deal with the nonsense of jobs and politics all day long, you should be able to find some type of comfort and refuge with your people. You get what I'm saying? But then when you come back, they even tell you, nigga, I don't need you, or some shit like that. So I'm saying it's about the spirit of it that we kind of bite on and kind of follow behind to where, it's detrimental at a whole, even if it isn't personally, individually. But I understand what you're saying, though. I mean, I understand how you're coming as well. You're gonna always let someone do what they do and learn their lesson from it. You know what I mean? You're never gonna be in a position to try to control someone or tell them what they have to do. But just as far as for the culture in a whole, the type of attitudes that we have sometimes that I think just kind of keeps us from our full potential of success. You know what I mean? And especially it's because of who we're following behind. That brings me into the next topic, actually. Next topic was when you're a fan or fanatic of someone else. You know how some people are fans and fanatics and whatnot. It says you give them all of your energy and affection a lot of times while doing nothing with your own life. As far as just sometimes, have you ever seen examples of that, of where it's, first of all, have you ever been a fanatic, a true fan or fanatic of someone? That's what I want to know. Has there ever been anyone to where if you would have seen them on the street, you would have broke your neck or went crazy to go run up to them? Because some people that I like the most, I think about it, and at the most, I think like I might just tap somebody and be like, "Man, look, there goes Peyton Manning," you know what I'm saying, or something like that. But I don't think I'm gonna pass out and fall out. What I'm saying, there's a different level of fanatic for what you want to call it, fanism or fanaticism, to where I've actually seen people give their whole energy and affection into these people and kind of soak it in. Like people passing out when Michael Jackson used to land on planes and shit like that. You get what I'm saying? You never seen nothing like that? Oh, okay. Oh, no, I've seen these things. Like they've had different artists, and back in the day, like when they'll be arriving for tours and stuff like that, people will be out there by the thousands or the hundreds, whatever the crowd was, but just waiting on folks, just passing out. Son, some folks is passing out, screaming, hollering, things of that nature. And I was just wondering, do you believe that when you're a fan of someone, like when you have people that are in these different fan clubs and like they live and die, dress up like these different people? I see a lot of even in our culture, we get a lot of fashion and whatnot from musicians, artists, athletes, things like that. A lot of hairstyles. Like, once things start, it takes off like a wildfire. So the folks that really keep into these trends, like lock into certain artists, like and really like copy everything behind them. I'm just wondering, do you think that a lot of these folks are giving their energy and affection kind of like why they don't do anything with their own life? Like, do they spend their whole lives trying to be someone else? And really, this can go past people who's looking at fans and things like this. This brings up a whole other question. Do you think it's possible to live and spend your whole life trying to live someone else's life and not even know it? That's kind of the only way that you can do it, right? I mean, it would take for someone to come to you and really have to snap you out of it before you realize, like I'm my skill set, everything that I know, everything that I do does not even line up with what this person does, who I'm trying to be like or emulate or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? Even to the point to where it may affect attitude or how you spend your money. how you dress, try to keep up with certain things, anything of that nature.